Hey guys, today's Earth Day, so I'm wearing my green shirt to celebrate. But of course, every day should be Earth Day. So whenever you can, reduce, reuse, and recycle. But to get things started, I'm going to ask you a little animation question. Did cell ink and paint have advantages over digital ink and paint? When cartoons made the leap from cell ink and paint, where the artist would trace over a frame of animation on a cell with ink, then add color behind it with paint, to digital ink and paint, where the artist would use layers to add outlines and use fill mode to paint the areas quickly, it seemed like nothing would be missed. However, that begs the question, did cell ink and paint have anything over digital? That's what we're going to discuss today. One advantage that digital ink and paint had over cell ink and paint is that it looked cleaner. But at the same time, when you hold a frame for so long in digital ink and paint, it can start to look stiff and lifeless. However, with cell ink and paint, there was always a slight chance that the cells wouldn't be perfectly still when shooting. This gave a subtle free line boiling effect, which kept the hold from looking stiff and lifeless. Also, there was those little shadows that would be behind the character animation cells, which has a certain charm that certain imperfections can give something. However, the imperfections in digital ink and paint don't have the same charm. It feels more like an annoyance. I heard recently that it's the technical director's job to make sure any animation errors are fixed, but sometimes those little errors slip through the cracks somehow. Speaking of imperfections, I read somewhere that the colors of cell ink and paint wouldn't always be 100% perfectly similar, which is something that they failed to replicate in that one scene in the newer episode of The Simpsons, where future Bart visits the very ending of the very first Simpsons Christmas special. I'm not sure if that thing can be done on purpose and still look good in digital ink and paint, but it's something to think about. When cells were used for animation, the ink and paint department were limited to 4 cells per frame of animation, not including the background. This was to ensure that the opacity of the cells wouldn't affect the color of the background. Of course, they'd usually find ways to use less than 4 layers if they can, usually by having different characters share the same cell. With digital ink and paint, however, you have access to unlimited layers, and you don't have to worry about the opacity of each one affecting the layers below it. However, I try to keep the amount of layers I use to a minimum, just to keep my workflow easy. Heck, I can only imagine a child's reaction to the older cartoon's cell ink and paint style compared to the digital ink and paint style that they've grown accustomed to. On one hand, they could feel indifferent to the difference. On the other hand, they might go up to their parents and ask why the cell ink and paint cartoon looks so old. Maybe it would have looked better if they had better cameras back in the day. Another thing I heard is that when cell ink and paint was the only option for animation back in the day, they had to put more time and effort into their cartoons. This could mean many things. It could mean that they had to try to get the most out of their animation drawings with what limitations they had. It could mean that they put more effort into their storytelling, but that's debatable. Whatever it does mean, we can all agree that there's a specific charm to handmade things. Well, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.